The 10 most perverted prisons in the world. Women's ball is forced to become a vent toy. Number 1 is creepy. Life is 100 times worse than death penalty. Prison. It was originally the place where the law governed the most guilty of corrective behavior. However, in some corners of the world, they have truly become a hellish existence. According to statistics from the United Nations and the World Prison Research Center, until 2024, there are more than 11 million prisoners in prison worldwide. On average, there are more than 145 people per 100,000 people. Deep immortal lingo. And in some countries, this rate is even as high as more than 600 per 100,000 people. Several reports of cell violence against guards. The out-of-control Yuzhong gang. Movies are no longer clean, but real daily life. What's even more harmful is the true story behind these extreme prisons. Indiscriminate infringement, secret cell, military surveillance, a prisoner living in a bad way to see God. These horrific scenes, far worse than the death penalty, follow the world's top today. Let's take a look. 10 of the world's most horrific prisons. 10th place, Rikers Island. In the Marvel movie Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., villain prison in the show, designed to be in custody, is the most dangerous, the most uncontrollable human being. But you may not know, this seemingly fictional super prison, in fact, it has its prototype in reality. Rikers Island on New York's East River. This island covers an area of over 167 hectares, known as the largest penal colony in the world. It is the incarnation of modern region. Rikers Island Prison was built in the 1930s. It was formerly a landfill. Guide originated from Dutch immigrant Abraham Reken. He bought the land in 1664. Then, there is no prison on the island. Until the late 1920s, New York City decides a new modern prison facility will be built here to replace Laugio Prison. However, from the moment of construction, Rikers Island has its share of disasters and scandals. 1932. A boat for 150 construction workers explodes on the way to the island, resulting in the death of 72 people. The disaster did not stop the project from progressing. Instead, it became a continuation of the prison's bloody history. New York City's largest detention center. Rikers Island holds more than 100,000 suspects each year. About 10,000 people were killed by Japanese troops. 85% of them are latecomers who have not yet been convicted. These people are imprisoned in 10 prisons. Average annual cost of incarceration per person, up to $556,000. The beginning of an education far beyond New York City public schools. What's even more ironic is, this judicial island zip code belongs to Queens, but politically affiliated with the Bronx. This kind of administrative fragmentation, leaving it in a regulatory vacuum for a long time. The horror of Rikers Island did not stem from an isolated incident, but the product of systemic violence. 2015. 9,424 violent clashes occurred here. More than 25 cases per day on average. Between prisoners. Confrontation between prisoners and early warning has become normalized. What's even more disturbing is 25% of disaster victims suffer from mental illness, but were treated like common criminals. Northern Medical City is a treatment facility in name only. In fact, it is a hotbed of violence. Prisoners placed in long-term solitary confinement. The self-suicide rate is 3 times that of ordinary prisons. Even the caretakers at Rikers Island, not spared. They face danger and pressure all year round. There have been collective strikes by employees. In such an environment, tensions between people, social rules are almost redefined. What is left is a state of existence that is far from common sense. This kind of violence doesn't just exist in physical spaces. It also penetrates into judicial filings. 85% of those awaiting trial, detained on unable father bail. Many were eventually acquitted. The average waiting time for trial here, more than 18 months. Some even before the trial. He has already served his sentence. This institutional excuse, essentially a double punishment for the poor. New York City Council has voted in 2019 complete closure of Rikers Island Prison in 2026 and plans to build smaller ones in other areas of the city. Modern incarceration facilities to repair the image of the judicial system. This may be a new point. However, the mark left by this island, already well aware of people's hearts. Ninth place, ADS Florence Prison, Florence, Colorado, with its vast canyon and the civilization on the top of the mountain where the white snow mourns in winter. It is an ideal natural holiday destination for many people. However, just in the shadow of this beautiful scene, hidden is a being that scares freshmen all over the world. ADS Florence Prison, Alcatraz Island in the Rockies, and the federal prison in the American Gulag. Nearly 500 people are detained. Metahumans considered the worst of evils, of which the pace is notorious. Zacharias Musavi, the mastermind of the Oklahoma City bombing. Terry Nichols, and what is called a life of death. Serial violation of metahumans. Joseph Swang and others. Every prisoner here, almost all were completely severed connection with the world. Their cells were less than 9 square meters in size. The only window, just a small viewing hole in the wall. What is revealed is not a scene of freedom, just patches of sky and gray building outlines. They have 23 hours in a day. They are all locked in this space, only during the occasional times when you are allowed to relax. Briefly exposed to outside air, different from ordinary prisons. ADS Florence is almost completely deprived. Communication opportunities between prisoners. No shared cafeteria. No factory labor. There is almost no direct conversation between guards and prisoners. The most basic human social needs. It is here that it is least suppressed by systematic suppression. International human rights organizations have conducted multiple investigations into it and expressed the serious relationship, pointing out prolonged isolation may have crossed the line of punishment, touching on the Eighth Amendment of the Constitution, prohibited cruel and very expensive punishments. The experience of a prisoner who taught check bowls. This reveals the institutional nature of possible extreme consequences of lockdown. He had done this without any violence, by a piece of paper with words written on it. Robbed dozens of banks. What he went through after being imprisoned is not an environment that only rehabilitates prisoners, but a series of disgusting psychological shocks. According to his lawyer's description, Bowers engaged in serious self-injurious behavior while incarcerated, although doctors declared that he had no serious mental illness. But his reaction, apparently a physical and mental reaction caused by extreme isolation. What's disturbing is, the U.S. Federal Bureau of Prisons has stated, people with severe mental illness will not be held in ADS. But that's not the case. Having bipolar disorder, prisoners with mental health issues such as post-traumatic stress disorder, still imprisoned here, and may be deprived of medication for long periods of time. Robert, who served as the prison's warden, Hood admitted, the design purpose of ADS never included the word transformation. Here, human nature seems to be compressed into its most primitive form. A number, an iron door, a closed room. Even if someone was a genius, Kaczynski, he was admitted to Harvard University at the age of 16. Or professionals, such as Wong, he was a professional doctor. But once they step through this door, it can only become a silent link in the system. 8th place, Diyarbakir, southeast of Torchi. The prison name Diyarbakir. Not only is it known as a symbol of hell, it was also listed among the top 10 in the world for violence committed by eunuchs. One of the smartest prisons for recruiting. This prison is located in the city of Diyarbakir. Since 1980, established as an alien prison by the Ministry of Justice. His fate. But on September 12th of the same year, after the military coup in Torchi, be completely changed. Military junta brought about by coup took over the prison, converted it into a martial law prison. From that moment on, this is no longer a simple shelter and became many political prisoners. Transformed place. Until 1988, the prison was returned again to the justice system, but the shadow he left, still there. In the most notorious year of 1981 to 1984, according to official data, there are at least 34 prisoners died unexpectedly here. Countless people who were oppressed by the military suffered indescribable treatment. In this history, even visits were deprived. Relatives and lawyers turn away. Prisoners in closed environment completely lose contact with the outside world. When in 1996, Torchy Human Rights Commission, during field work, the facility is designed to accommodate 650 people. Only 942 prisoners are held. Crowding level exceeds agreement by 45%. In such an environment full of people and illusions, normal management is a problem. More questions about humane treatment. And the most shocking, not the shape or structure of this prison. Rather, it is the order established within it. Some welcome ceremonies that year. Cult theater. Bath Los Cisco. This sounds easy. Even funny names. In fact, there is a bottomless darkness hidden. When a prisoner is in jail, welcome process to undergo is a twisted convention. There are even rumors that prisoner invaded into some kind of misunderstanding pool. Symbolize them. Will completely break away from the past identity. Enter a new kind of survival rules. Even if the body can still bear it, the mental damage is even deeper. There is an unwritten rule in prison. Not allowed to speak any language other than Torchy, especially Kurdish, even if family members come to visit. Torchy language must also be used. Prisoners were forced to, remembering the Torchy national anthem and various nationalist songs. It's as if language has become a kind of tools in education. In the history of these years, many famous politicians were imprisoned here. Kurdish political leader Ahmet Turk, poet Yilmaz Bodabrazi, and former Diyarbakir Mayor al-Mudi Zana et al. Many prisoners are seen as disadvantaged and became a symbol of commemoration for political groups. And some people, you will never be able to get out of this iron gate. There are opposition figures among them. There are also heirs, ordinary people caught up in the political whirlpool. 2009. The government has proposed plans. Diyarbakir prison, converted into a school. But so far, this sponsor is not recognized. The prison is still operating as usual.